Recibimos
We would like to receive Honorable Jasmine de Corizo, the First Lady of Panama. Good morning to everyone here with us today. Before we get started, I would like to remind you about biosecurity measures to ensure that this event follows all of the regulations stipulated by the Ministry of Health. Maintain physical distance and please wear your mask at all times. We would like to welcome Honorable Jasmine de Cortiza, the First Lady of the National Republic, Panama, all of the honorable members here of the diplomatic board, Mr. Mark Single, Chairman of the Board of Trustees at Harrisburg University, Dr. Eric Darr, President of Harrisburg University, Dr. Kevin Huggins, the Rector of Harrisburg University in Latin America, Mr. Jorge Rasulmina, Executive Chair of the City of Knowledge Foundation and member of the Accessory Board for the Advisory Board for Harrisburg University in Latin America, as well as the members of our panel of experts, students of Harrisburg University, representatives from different private associations, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Harrisburg University, we would like to welcome you to this inauguration act for this location for study in Panama. We would like to present a short video about the characteristics of Harrisburg University, the #1 university in STEM careers in the United States, according to Corporate Live Wire.
Geeks, capital G, lowercase nothing. Tomorrow looking, today doing. Big things, microscopic things. Predicting things, even the unpredictable. Geeks, making sense of it all, even nonsense. Not taping glasses, but patching networks. Building tomorrow's framework one line of code at a time. We the geeks, we see the world differently through 1, 2, and 4 eyes. We don't get pushed down, we push information out. So go ahead, call us geeks. Thanks for the compliment.
sin duda.
Without a doubt, it has been very interesting to see the opportunities that this place of learning has brought to Latin America. We are so proud that you have decided to operate in the region and in Panama. We would like to invite Mr. Jorge Rasulmina, the Executive Chair of the Foundation for the City of Knowledge. With the apologies to the authorities of the health authorities, I will be removing my mask. Good morning, Honorable First Lady, Mr. President of the University, Mr. Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Barrio from CINESIT, the President of the Chamber of Commerce, other important leaders, my good friend Kevin Huggins, Rector for Latin America for the University of Harrisburg, for Harrisburg University. And I would like to just say a few words briefly to welcome you to this important event with the honor of having the First Lady here, because this is a very strategic moment, as our MC has said. Harrisburg is #1 in terms of STEM, and we're going to honor that today with a panel of distinguished Panamanian scientists who are going to show us. I also think it's very interesting that they selected a distinguished panel of female scientists, and I'm proud of that. And we're going to hear from them. For those of you who are here for the first time in the the City of Knowledge. As you know, this was for a long time the location for the Southern Command of the United States military, and it was transformed through a non-profit foundation, the City of Knowledge Foundation. And in this open space, whose promoters and founders, who may no longer be with us here on the earth, we have created a space for meeting to find answers to the big challenges that we faced in the 21st century. The space that has been created for knowledge and for transformation of our cities. It is such a joy, and I've been talking to Kevin about this for a long time, and those who have graced us with their visits, that Harrisburg, having selected Panama and having selected the City of Knowledge, Ciudad de Saber, to come into Latin America is absolutely strategic for STEM. We must transform our people at every level, and this is an extraordinary opportunity. Thank you for making this decision. In Ciudad de Saber, the City of Knowledge, you're going to find an international environment, which we sought from the very beginning to serve the entire region, not just Panama. Here, you will find the most important international organizations, universities, research centers, very soon a vaccination center, with the inspiration of Dr. Barriga, the Secretary of SINACET. And this is a space where knowledge and innovation is committed to change, to create a society that is more just, more democratic, more sustainable. That is what we offer. That's what Panama is offering. And I wish you all of the best success. I hope you feel at home. Kevin, the rector, knows that he will feel at home here. You will always find respectful dialogue in this space. Welcome to Ciudad de Saber. Welcome to Panama.
Muchas gracias, señora.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rasulmina, for that warm welcome. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Mark Single, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Harrisburg University, to come on stage and share with us his vision as well about the arrival of the university to our country.
That introduction, and let me just say that it is a privilege and a pleasure to be here. Actually, it's a lot better than being stranded in the Miami airport, but that's another story. Harrisburg, but let me first of all tell you how grateful we are to be in the presence of the First Lady. Thank you for gracing us with your presence today. And also the leaders of government, the leaders of business, the leaders of academia who are here today. Thank you for being our partners in providing something to the students of this area. We look forward to a long and productive collaboration with you. Harrisburg University began with a mission to provide educational opportunities primarily to underserved populations. That was our goal, and we have fulfilled that mission in an extraordinary way, not just for Pennsylvania, but for our region and for our nation, and now for the world. At any given time at Harrisburg University, there are over 100 nations represented, students from 100 nations matriculating their way through our courses, and we're very, very proud of that. We have, over the last 13 years, established ourselves as a first-rate STEM school that has been recognized on the national and international stage. But we have also done something extraordinary, and that is to send a very clear message that international education is the key to understanding. International grasp of STEM concepts are what can provide the impetus for a revitalization of economies not just in the United States, but all over the world. And we're seeing that happen as a result of the excellence that we provide together for our students. So we're very, very proud of that fact. And the reason we're able to do that is because the Board of Trustees at HU, the faculty, the administration, and the leadership are committed to rolling our sleeves up and working with you, not in a directive way, but in a collaborative way. We want to understand the culture. We want to understand what the needs are in the region and the nation. We want to be there to provide the kinds of skills that your students need to succeed. And we're going to continue to do that as aggressively as we can. So this kind of essentially branch campus for Harrisburg University is our pride and joy. And we are thrilled to be able to thank you for assisting us as we move forward in that mission. And let me say one more word, and you're going to be hearing from him shortly. The bulk of the credit for innovation, for the unique way that HU positions itself to be able to be productive at various places throughout the world. That credit goes to President Dr. Darr. Eric Darr is innovative. He has been recognized internationally for being far-sighted and for willing to come to the Board of Trustees with some crazy ideas on occasion. We have been thrilled to be able to work with him to bring these ideas to fruition, and as long as he is with us, we, the Board of Trustees, are assured that HU will continue to operate quality programs, and you can be assured that you will find a receptive partner at Harrisburg University. Thank you very much for allowing me to make those few brief remarks, and thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mark Single. The collective culture of the university and the excellent opportunities in STEM careers are very valuable for our region. We are very happy to be able to offer to Latin American professionals an ideal space that will contribute to our country's advancing towards development hand in hand with technology and innovation. Now we would like to invite Dr. Eric Darr, President of Harrisburg University, to share a few words.
Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure to be here as well. As Mark said, today is a momentous occasion, and we're thrilled to be here and very much appreciate the partnerships to date, the collaboration to date that's all led to this day. I too would like to thank the First Lady for honoring us with her presence here today, and friends that I've already met on several occasions on my visits here before. Nice to see you in the audience as well. Jorge, always a pleasure to be here in what you've essentially transformed and built where we are today, so thank you very much as well. As Mark said, we are excited about what Panama means, but really what we can bring to the region. And to the workforce, to the businesses, in partnership with governments to transform what skills and abilities and capabilities professionals, young people will develop in the years to come during the programs at Harrisburg University. So we're going to start with a program that has been in place for several years. Critical for the world that we live in today, And that's a program, a master's degree in data analytics. And you might say, what's data analytics for those that don't know? It's really taking all of the information that floods us today through our mobile devices of whatever sort and making sense of it to make rational decisions, to make logical decisions, to improve performance, to transform the way we work, to allow us, our businesses and our governments, to serve citizens better in more efficient and effective ways. American Airlines could have used some of that help over the last day and a half, but I will tell you, COPA had it right. So that's the reason. They're the reason we're here. Had it been for American, we would not. So that's where we're going to start, but we're rapidly going to expand into other programs. We recently, through some good friends of ours actually in the Netherlands, have begun work in advanced agriculture. This is bringing technology to traditional agriculture and even bringing technology to non-traditional agriculture, whether it's controlled environment, vertical greenhouses, completely indoors, completely controlled, completely segmented from the environment, or whether it's new sensors, new technology brought to open field agriculture. And we've already had some very interesting conversations with potential partners here to bring some of that work and to bring our friends to become new friends here in Panama, all with the idea of better food security, better food availability, and solving problems with the supply chain associated with food production and providing food to the citizens of a city or a country. That's the kind of work that Harrisburg University is engaged in. And we're thrilled to be able to do that here and in this region. As Mark said, I don't think they're that crazy, but I do bring some big ideas, I think, to the trustees for consideration. Another one that we're currently working on is to create a similar campus to what we're doing here in Dubai. And the idea is the same. Bring our programs to a region of the world that desperately needs those programs, educate professionals, educate young people, transform the way work gets done in the MENA region of the world. Our real goal, though, over the next 5 to 10 years is to then connect what happens in Latin America with what happens in the Middle East, with what happens in the United States, in meaningful ways, in ways that are much beyond study abroad or other programs that you may have heard of at other universities, but to really connect culturally, technologically, what happens in one part of the world with another part of the world. Shorten distances, shorten differences, all to the betterment of the citizens in each parts of the world. And so that's really, when you say, what are we up to over the next 5 or 10 years, and I get asked that question, that's really what we're up to. So today is a momentous occasion. It marks kind of the second leg, if you will, of what we're trying to do. We'll hopefully be opening Dubai later this year, and we continue to expand what we do in the United States with multiple campuses there. So we very much are looking forward to the future and our partnerships together. And today is just the first day of, I hope, many celebrations of great things here in Panama and in the Latin American region. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Thank you, Dr. Eric Darr. It's very interesting how Harrisburg University seeks to provide tools and opportunities that students need in order to fully develop their abilities to be competitive in their professional field and to so achieve a positive impact on their environment. We would like to now invite Dr. Kevin Huggins, Rector of Harrisburg University for Latin America, HU LATAM. Honorable Yasmin de Cortizo, First Lady of the Republic of Panama, respected leaders from government, business, and academia, friends and colleagues of HU LATAM, welcome. Both for those present and for those connecting virtually, I appreciate you attending. This moment would have little meaning without you. So thank you. Before we get started with our panel, I would like to share some beliefs that we hold at HU LATAM. Belief 1. Education can significantly impact your path in life. I am an example of this. It was just my mother and me. We had very limited economic resources. Instead, I had two things. I had a mother who provided me a structured environment in the home. I also had access to a quality STEM education. Without either, I would not be here with you today. Our belief number 2 is that we are facing many challenges as a connected society. As we have discovered in the last couple of years, we are connected in many ways, more than just social media. What happens in China can directly impact you. I think we have a better understanding that we are truly sharing a single world. We must work together. Belief 3. Brilliant minds come in different flavors. No country, ethnic group, or gender has a monopoly on brilliant minds. They're all around us. They just need to be inspired, empowered, and transformed. To personify these beliefs, allow me to share some examples. 2 years ago, very few people would have heard of literacy. However, surely many of you know of her now. Together with her husband, she founded the company BioNTech that developed the Pfizer vaccine. She lives in Germany, but her family is from Turkey. Within the context of our beliefs, allow me to rephrase this. A woman from an immigrant family from a developing country had a passion for science. This passion was nurtured through a quality education, and her professional accomplishments now have impacted each of you directly. Ana Lucia Caicedo is from the Nariño State or Department in the Pacific coast of Colombia. She is the only oceanographer in her region. With her preparation in electronic engineering and oceanography, she is making important contributions regarding climate change and the health of our oceans. She is also very focused on inspiring the next generation of scientists. By her example, she is showing the youth in her region and all of Colombia that they too can be scientists. At Harrisburg University, we are also working hard to prepare future world changers. Just like Sonam Gupta. She is a data science Ph.D. student who is developing models that automatically detect gender bias in a written text. Xian Wang is another Ph.D. student who has developed a novel machine learning architecture that allows groups of neural networks to work together to learn faster and make better predictions. And I also know Miguel Cedeño. He's here with us now. I've known him for more than 15 years when he and his now wife were students at the UTP, the Technological University of Panama. He is now a student with us at HU LATAM, right here. He is doing a master's in analytics. And have no doubts, Miguel is on a path to significantly impact his world as well. What do these people have in common? A passion for STEM and access to a quality STEM education. My question is, how many people are in Panama and in the region that have an equal or larger love for STEM? Imagine not only the frustration for them, but also the loss for our societies if these people are not able to pursue their passion for STEM. Ladies and gentlemen, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. HU LATAM is here to help with the harvest as our lives are intertwined. So in closing, these beliefs form the foundation of our passion here in Latin America, in conjunction with the vision of the City of Knowledge. And this passion can be captured in 3 words. It is our desire to inspire, to empower, and to transform. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kevin. We would like to invite now our panelists for the morning to come up on the stage so that we can start this conversation, which we have called Key Ideas for Developing Human Talent in Latin America in STEM. We have here Dr. Gabrielle Britton, Doctor of Neuroscience and researcher for INDICASAP, the Institute of Scientific Research and Advanced Technology of Panama. We also have engineer Doriana Hoon, general manager of Chevron Panama, and president of AmCham, the American Chamber of Commerce in Panama. We would also like to invite to the stage Dr. Ori Sanjur, biologist and acting director of the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute. Dr. Kevin Hodgins will lead this panel, Key Ideas for Developing Human Talent in Latin America in STEM. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. I have to confess something. I didn't sleep much last night because I was so excited to share this panel with you, with these ladies. It was really a dream made reality, being here and sharing with these ladies and speaking about such an important topic. The lack of human capital in STEM is a long-term issue. It's something that is not just happening in this region, but also in the U.S. And that is the reason that Harrisburg University was founded in the United States. It's the reason we continue to do the work that we do. So, with this challenge that we're facing in the last 2 years with the pandemic, it has worsened the situation, and some groups were impacted more than others. Today, we want to look at some examples of success, and we want to hear their perspectives and look to them as an example. So I think we're going to start with a question for all 3 of you, if you don't mind. I would like to know, If you can tell us a bit about yourselves and what role you have played in STEM education in your professional fields. Maybe, Gabriel, you could start here since you're first. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here today and for this really distinguished event and this distinguished panel. First of all, it's very exciting to have a university like Harrisburg here. I was looking at their website, and I think the data analytics program is going to be so important for Panama. I absolutely do. My story in STEM, I like to hear your story, Kevin. I identify in a lot of ways with what you said, coming from that very structured environment. I'm half Panamanian, half American. I was born in New York. My mother is Maria Rasulmina, Britain, and my father was from the U.S. From 14, I studied in the U.S. I did my degree there, and I worked as a professor at a university in Pennsylvania, Lafayette College, so I'm very familiar with Pennsylvania. And I came back to Panama in 2006 for something created by the government called Repatriating Talent. It was led by SINACIT, and it was a very important moment. I was about to become tenured at that university I was working at, and it was a very important moment. I could imagine living the rest of my life in the United States, but I decided to come back to Panama. I can tell you the end of the story, which is that I certainly do not regret having made that decision. It was an important decision, but I never imagined what it would involve. I had the opportunity to participate in what I consider to be building the institution that I work at, the INDICASAT. I work in neuroscience with a group of extraordinary people from many different fields of study, and we have been able to build a research program focused on the health of the elderly in Panama. So that for the first time in Panama, there's a program focused specifically on aging at every level. Biology of aging, which we study in cells and in animals, and clinical studies, where we do longitudinal studies following the elderly in Panama throughout many years in order to see who's at risk of suffering from diseases like Alzheimer's, and also those who are aging successfully. So going back to the beginning of this story, my family structure, as Kevin said, having a family that supported me and understood the importance of education was important for me. I could have done anything that I wanted to do, and I chose a career in STEM. Being in Panama is a great privilege. It is a privilege to make up part of the history of science in Panama. Science is still young in Panama. We are still building it. And it is important to recognize that everything that we do is so that new people who come in to study and to do science in Panama can dedicate more and more time to only doing science. And they don't have to do all of the management work that we have had to do. We have had to build institutions which are very important for us to achieve our plan. It's also a privilege to work in science in Panama because we are a very diverse group. We have support from the institution, the government institution SINACIT, and I think it's very important to say publicly that this is one of the government institutions that has the highest level of continuity between different government administrations. And this is very important in a country like ours. It's important to recognize that science has been apolitical for the most part. Perhaps we even need to be a little bit more political so that we can get more funds for science. But I feel truly privileged to be a part of this. I recognize that one of the roles that I have, maybe the most important, is to teach the next generation of scientists. We're here to talk about diversity in STEM, and for me, that's one of the most important points. We want diverse people, people from the countryside, not just people that live in the capital city. Women, people who are perhaps the first in their family to graduate from university, LGBTQ people, diverse people of all kinds who strengthen science. I'm very happy to have been invited to be here and to talk about these topics. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Can you share with us too? Yes, I would like to add to Gabriel's words. I want to congratulate Harrisburg University. I think this is something that we do need in Panama. We need to continue promoting education, and this is something where everyone plays a role. Just like Gabriel, I had and have the opportunity of having parents that supported me in my studies to study whatever I wanted to study. I was able to research and decide what I wanted to do, and I ended up studying chemical engineering. And unfortunately, in Panama, there is no chemical engineering option in Panama. I had to go to the U.S. That was another blessing from my parents that they were able to support me in doing that. And that's one of the reasons that there are very few chemical engineers in Panama. However, when I came back from having studied a STEM career, it really opened the doors to me to be able to open in a refinery, to be able to work in a refinery. I apologize. And then I was able to work at Colgate-Palmolive when they had a plant here, and then go back to the Panama refinery. I said that I was destined to work at Chevron, which is a company that I've been working with now for 24 years. Working in a STEM career allowed me to go into a world, to step into an environment that usually was only men. When I started working at the oil refinery, it was maybe 600 men and 11 women working there at the plant. Fortunately, this shows that through hard work and daring to move forward, you can achieve your goals. 7 years ago, I became the first Panamanian woman to be a general manager of Chevron, a company that has been here for more than 80 years. That also gave me the opportunity, because of my STEM career, to grow in a corporation, a multinational company, to work my way up. And definitively, if I had to go back and make that decision, I would study once again the same studies, the same career, and I would follow the same STEM principles, which have added significant value. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I would certainly like to agree with the words of the other two ladies up here to congratulate Harrisburg University for coming here. Welcome to Panama. For us as Panamanians, it is truly an honor and a pleasure to have you here. We hope that it will be a very fruitful relationship. I'm going to share a little bit about myself. And just like my colleagues, I would say that my family is very, very important. Family is very important when we want to transform and inspire new generations. I was born in the countryside in Panama, in Veraguas. I was raised in Chiriquí, also in the countryside, and my family was modest. My parents were teachers, and education is fundamental because it doesn't matter where you live or what your social status is. Education is fundamental. It is a line that allows you to empower the coming generations. From a young age, I wanted to do something scientific. I didn't know what I wanted to do, something in science. maybe biophysics. When I was little, I thought that would be interesting. And just like Doriana said, that it wasn't possible to do in Panama. So my mother said, why don't you do biology, study biology? I thought at that time there were many people in my family said, why are you going to do science? Why are you going to do biology? You're going to die of hunger. You're not going to be able to get work. So the kinds of messages that you give to a young person are very important. 15, 16, that really impacts them. I was lucky that my parents said, don't listen to those people. They said, do what you want to do, but whatever you're going to do, do it well. So I graduated from the University of Panama with a degree in biology. I did a doctorate degree in molecular biology at Rutgers, and I came back to the Smithsonian as an intern first. Then I started working at the institution as a lab researcher. And throughout the institution, just like Doriana, I have been in the institution for 24 years, and I managed to move up to one of the highest positions. During the pandemic, I was given the honor of becoming the acting director, the first female Latina Panamanian in over 100 years to direct this organization. And what a huge responsibility. At that time, it was a lot about what I represented as a person. For me, it was so important because I said I'm a Panamanian, I'm a woman, I'm a Latina. It is important that the message that I give as a leader is understood. First, to empower others. Second, to grow capacities. And third, to consolidate an institution that was in crisis and needed a leader that could guide the institution through those turbulent waters. It was a magnificent experience, not an easy experience. But that experience changed me. It made me more aware of the role that each one of us plays. Every one of us who are here today, every one of us who is here online, we are people who have an awareness, a conscious. And I would speak to each one of you. Be an ambassador in your space, in your environment. We play an important role. We can lead, we can empower the future generations. I really believe in education, and science has been extraordinarily important for me as a person and as a professional. It has allowed me to believe in myself when science didn't seem important to others. I can show you now how science is the response to many of the challenges that Kevin mentioned and that the Mr. President and Mr. Chairman mentioned in their presentations: access to water, climate change, food security. So many things. In the middle of the pandemic, who saved us? It was scientists. They brought us concrete solutions with concrete, true information. They said, we can do this to create immunity and move forward. So I just want to share with you that I'm a faithful believer in science, in education, in empowerment, and in representation and diversity, just as Gabriela said. Thank you so much.
Well, muchas gracias por
Thank you very much for these comments and for allowing us to get to know you a little bit better. You spoke a bit about education, Oris. Do you think you could share a bit about the importance of strengthening STEM education in early education phases? Without a doubt, following that same train of thought, as I said, I believe very strongly that education opens doors. Now we're in a society with a lot of challenges, a lot of inequality, especially in marginalized communities that don't have opportunities. What can we do as a society? What can we offer? Education. We have found that there is a differentiation between how we educate boys and girls. And this is something that should really alert us. We need to start educating equally, and not just education that happens in schools, but education starts at home, helping them to believe, as boys and girls, that they can achieve their dreams, even if they're crazy. Just as one of the common things that we have among the three of us is that our parents believed in us. That is one thing that we have in common, everyone up here. We need someone to believe in us, and you can tell that in our life stories, and many more people would say the same. So education from an early age is certainly important. There's something that is really interesting to me, which is that many times when we talk about the differences between education, we're cutting the boys and girls' wings very early, even at 3 to 5 years. We all are born scientists because the base of science is curiosity. And what child isn't curious? When we have a child who's 2 or 3 and we tell them, no, you can't do that, you can't explore, you can't experiment, we use a lot of negatives and we start to cut off that curiosity that is starting. And from there on, through different stages of life, especially in the early stages, if we don't pay attention to how we raise the children, we can make mistakes. Now here, I'm talking about education at the home, raising a child in home. But what about in school? Teachers are polishing diamonds in the rough, and being able to invest in an education that truly educates is so important. Many times we don't think about who we are turning the hearts and minds of our children over to. And that is where we are polishing the future leaders of our country and of our world, those who will offer solutions to the problems that we're facing. At this time, children who are 2, 3, 10, they will be our leaders, and they will have to face the challenges that we are talking about today and solve those problems. That is why it is so important to pay attention to early education at all levels. Thank you so much, Oris. And I very much agree about the importance of curiosity in scientists, but also in all work. We have researchers, and I would say it's important, and we forget to be curious. So thank you for sharing that. So as we're talking about education, when we start our education, we have to consider the importance of STEM education. The three of you have followed a STEM career. Doriana, you have had a career like my daughter. Can you tell us about STEM studies in a career that is perhaps different from a science-focused career? I would like to agree with what Ori said, first of all. I think everything you said was fantastic. If there's something that you should never lose, it's your curiosity. Curiosity, asking questions. It's amazing how, as we become adults, we start to be embarrassed about everything. We don't want to ask questions. We don't want to be curious. But that spirit of learning is something that we must keep active. I'd like to start when you think about STEM and you think about work. I think it's very important to understand that one of the first things is erasing this paradigm that if you study STEM, then you only have 2 options. You can work in a lab or in a specific industry, and that's it. We have to erase that paradigm. And a lot of people will say, oh, I'm not good at math, so I can't study STEM. It's too hard, so I can't study STEM. I think that it is really just about commitment. It's about daring to try. Those are paradigms that we get stuck in. And what's true is that any STEM career will offer you a series of skills and abilities that will allow you to work in any work environment. And I want to mention 3. The first is critical thinking. Critical thinking in order to be able to stop and evaluate what you're seeing. Another important skill is a systematic working structure. Sometimes we become kind of perfectionists, but you start to learn as you go to be more flexible. And another is an enormous capacity to solve problems, simple problems and complex problems. The reality is not everything in life is complicated. Some things are simple. For me personally, it gave me the opportunity, and I could share an example. I'm not working as an engineer at this time. I am a general manager. I work on sales. I look at financial reports. I look at legal issues. I've learned how to be a lawyer, kind of the hard way. Speaking in public, as Ori says. STEM isn't usually about speaking in public. But my education has allowed me to achieve the things that I have achieved. Without a doubt, if I could recommend to a young person, a child, to study something, I would not doubt about recommending that they choose a STEM career, that it will help them holistically as a person for whatever they want to do in the future. Thank you so much. And I do agree with that point about being flexible. It's very important in resolving problems and organizing ourselves. Thank you. We have a very, very interesting panel and a very, very competent panel with us here today. And I love that you come from such different areas and different areas of study as well. But even though you represent a lot of diversity in a lot of aspects, I'm hoping that you can speak to me a little bit about diversity itself in STEM and in your work. Diversity isn't just about STEM, right? I would like to agree with what Ori said. We all play a key role in our micro worlds, our micro societies. And diversity is important at every level. Something that's very positive, I think, is that we're talking more about diversity. That's the first step, is talking about it, getting it out there, getting it on the table, saying this is something that's important, that requires our attention. I think that's the first step. Now we go to scientific events, congresses, and they say when you come in and you sign and they give you your little lanyard, they talk about how important diversity is. There are spaces just for women. There's childcare at those events. These are important things that have to do with diversity. And these are things that need to exist at all levels of society. Diversity is important. That's number one. Number two, when we talk about diversity, it's important that those of us who are watching the issue scientifically, there's been a lot that has come from social science about the importance of diversity. And so we can't be saying, I think, or this is how I feel. We have research. We have research that is very clear, and it says that diversity is critical for productivity, for better relationships between colleagues, to be able to collaborate better. And the product is better. Wealth is better distributed when there's diversity in businesses. And these are not opinions. These are facts. We have to educate from this perspective, and that's very important when we're looking at science. We all went to high school, so we have a lot of opinions about high school. But education is something that people study. So we need to listen to the data, not just our own experience. So we need to set aside what we feel or what we believe, and we need to listen to those who are experts. Diversity increases positive things in lots of environments, not just in STEM. One thing that is very important, which Oris mentioned, is that we need to work in our unique circles, in our micro worlds. We need to find people who are underrepresented where we work, so that we can hear from diverse experiences. We can't have a working group where everyone is the same. Sometimes, and maybe not sometimes, maybe all of the time, it's difficult for someone who goes into an environment and they see that the people who are leading the institution are all the same. We see pictures in newspapers of the working groups or leaders, and it's all just men in ties. And so I think, where do I fit there? It's the same with science. Diversity is so important. We as women are about 60% of those who graduate from university in science. When we get to doctorates and master's degrees, it's lower, 40-50%. And when you see people who are leading researching groups, the numbers drop more and more. And we call this the scissor effect. When you find people who are the heads of centers, research centers, it's 100% men. Who's the director of the institution? The National Secretariat for Science and Technology, 100% men. So we go from 60% of those who graduate in science to 0% of those who have high-level leadership positions in science. And that's important. We have to be self-critical as well. A lot of these things that we come to, the people who speak are all men. We have to be self-critical. We have to say, how does this represent us? So how can we improve that on web pages? Talk about it. Put it on the home page. This institution is committed to diversity. That's important. We have to talk about diversity, and not just at events like this. We have to talk about diversity every day, because Panama, like many other places, but Panama, where we live, is a place that is extremely diverse. There is so much diversity. And every time we bring in someone new to a working group, I feel proudly that my working group is very diverse. And we have been nourished by so much interesting information that it has given us success. That is what the diversity has led to in my working group. And so I would really encourage people to work on these issues where you work, in your offices. Be, self-critical, self-aware, and think about who are the people that are making decisions. Because if they're all the same people, if they only come from private schools, they're only people who've studied abroad, they're only people who have had the privileges that we've had as people in this panel, then it's not diversity. And that's why diversity is really important. Social sciences have showed us that, and that's why it's so important for us to practice diversity. This is the most important thing, not just in STEM, but I would say in everything. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Gabriel.
Thank you so much. And this was very quick. But Gabriel, Doriana, and Oris, I want to thank you so much for sharing your perspectives with us, from the importance of education, the impact that it's had in your career, and the importance of university. You've covered those 3 topics, and you've mentioned other very important topics as well for us to consider. You've really set out the path for us to improve things in Panama and in the region, and for that region, I thank you very much. And before, if you will allow me, we would like to give you a gift in order to thank you for your participation.
Algo chiquito.
De esta manera les
With that, we would like to give a round of applause to our panelists for this morning. Key ideas for developing human talent in Panama in STEM. Thank you very much. These are very important women who have made us feel proud of the talent that we have in science and research and technology. Valuable experiences that have allowed us to see more clearly the path that we need to take to achieve development. Without further ado, we would like to welcome to the stage Honorable Jasmine de Cortizo, First Lady of the Republic of Panama.
muy buenos to be here. Estoy encantadísima de estar aquí. Probablemente una de las cosas que más
Maybe one of the things that I most enjoyed in my life was being on a university campus.
En un momento de mi vida fui
At one point, I was a TA. So it's really a pleasure to be back here at a site that makes me feel at home. I guess I'm going to speak a little bit of Spanglish so that everyone can understand and we don't get lost, if that's okay. It is an honor to be here with you at the inauguration of Harrisburg University of Science and Technology, an educational institute that is coming to Panama to strengthen our country and Latin America in terms of STEM educational offerings, which every day is becoming more and more relevant. I don't know if you're aware, but I'm going to let you know. I have been named ambassador for STEM education in the Americas, and I'm very excited to know that Panama continues to take huge steps forward in educating young people following this pedagogical model, and especially now establishing one of the best STEM universities in the United States here in Panama. Our students will be able to continue broadening their knowledge and choose careers that open the doors to new and better opportunities for them. STEM education has been, from the beginning, very interesting for the programs that my offices have been interested in. I really coincide with you that education is the best vehicle for transformation for our young people, not just adding to their academic education, but as you said, offering them values and attitudes that create a successful professional future for them. A successful future like these marvelous women that we had in our panel. We are reinforcing, and I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing in Panama with STEM education. We are reinforcing this methodology for teaching in the holistic educational centers for early education. We call them CAIPs, in order to take different kinds of programs to these students. The International Robotics Olympics, our allies for STEM development, the Funda STEM, and the STEM camps, which are being organized this year by the Ministry for Education and Innovation, together with the offices of the First Lady. All of this is joint work, and it's the only way that we can together achieve excellent education that we need in our country. I think that unified with you, we can do even more. With actions like those that I mentioned, Panama continues to strengthen the teams that participate every year in robotics Olympics, achieving 8th place in the new technologies category for the World Robotics Olympics in 2021. And I want to mention something too. The Robotics Olympics at a global level, 8th place was achieved by a group of girls, 8 years old. 8 to 12, 3 girls. They didn't know each other before. They got to know each other during the pandemic online. They did an extraordinary project and they won 8th place in those STEM Olympics at a global level. So it's a huge success, and it shows how Panama has talent. We just have to create paths for them and education using this model. I don't know if you're aware, but I'm making a lot of announcements for those of you who don't know.
That you are now, and we are so glad to have you here. We have been selected to be the host of the WRO in 2023. Somos la sede.
We are the location for the World Robotics Olympics in 2023. And this is...
It wasn't easy. We had to do a lot of lobby and a lot of work because we were competing with many countries such as Turkey, second runner-up. Like we felt like Miss Universe. We won the... Okay, so Panama va a ser la sede de las Olimpiadas.
Panama will be the location for the World Robotics Olympics in 2023, and we expect to have more than 25,000 international visitors who will participate in this event, which will be from the 7th to 9th of November in 2023. But aside from the satisfaction of having visitors from other countries, I am so excited to know that over 100,000 residents from throughout our country will be able to enjoy this marvelous experience, which without a doubt will open up a new world of possibilities and dreams for them. That is our dream, this window for our population here in Panama. I would also like to share with you that the Ministry of Education is working on an initiative for public policy to permanently include the implementation of STEM methodology in order to elevate the quality of education. I want to take advantage of this moment before wrapping up to thank the speakers for their success stories. I absolutely loved hearing from Oris, Gabriel, and Doriana. Congratulations, you are an example to follow. And I really liked what Gabriel said. Let's practice diversity. It is extremely important because the world is diverse and we must be inclusive. That is how we can improve our society. On behalf of the national government and future professionals of the country, I would like to thank you profoundly for choosing Panama as your new location for a master's degree in STEM, and we would like to wish you all the best. Welcome to Panama. Thank you. Thank you very much to the First Lady of the nation for sharing her vision on STEM education. Now we would like to invite Mark Single, Eric Darr, Kevin Hodgins, and Mr. Jorge Rasulmina to the stage together with the First Lady in order to cut the ribbon as a symbolic act for the inauguration of Harrisburg University, Latin America.
queremos aprovechar este momento
We would like to take advantage of this moment to also offer some recognition to Mr. Jorge Rasulmina, Yasmina Cortizo, the First Lady, on behalf of Harrisburg University. If you would do us the honor of staying on stage. Thusly, we conclude this activity. Thank you very much for your presence, as well as for those who have participated by streaming. We would like to invite you all to step outside for a snack and have a lovely day.